Hi everyone, I am Catherine Miller and I am one of the Community Relations Directors at Georgetown Home Care. I cover DC and some areas of Montgomery County and Virginia, and I spend most of my time at Sibley Hospital and Georgetown Hospital.
And I'm Laura Vucci, and I also cover part of DC and part of Montgomery County. So I'll be at Washington Hospital Center, NRH, GW Hospital in DC, as well as Holy Cross Hospital and Suburban Hospital, and the surrounding rehab centers that support those hospitals.
Hi, I'm Jen Fitzgerald, and I work mainly in Northern Virginia, also a little bit in DC, but mainly call on the hospitals, the skilled nursing facilities, and some assisted living facilities in Virginia.
Hi again, I'm Catherine, and my role at Georgetown Home Care, along with Laura and Jen, is to sell our services to hospitals and rehab facilities. Our goal is to get clients to work with Georgetown Home Care and to work with you, our amazing caregivers. We want to bring in enough clients so that you can work as many hours as you want each week. So what we do is we spend our time with these social workers and case managers at the hospitals. We develop our relationships with them over months and over years. We talk to these social workers about the excellent services that our caregivers can provide for their patients. So what happens is a patient will end up in a hospital, and a social worker, for example, Nancy Smith, she will give me a call, or Laura or Jen, and she will explain to me what's going on with this family and why this client needs help once they get home. Then I will go to the hospital and meet with the patient and their family. I will encourage them to hire Georgetown Home Care. From there, we then start talking about what kinds of services we can provide. And Laura's going to talk to you a little bit about that.
So I'll talk to you a little bit about the next step in our process. So either we're speaking to a family on the phone after Nancy has called us, or we've come into the hospital or the rehab center and we're sitting bedside with the patient. At this point, we're describing the services that our agency and our caregivers can provide to the client. And so what we say is that the caregivers on our team are all employees of ours. We don't use contractors, meaning they're background checked, they're licensed, bonded, insured, as well as vaccinated and boosted, so no worries there. The types of support that we offer to clients is pretty broad and widespread. I'll often tell families on one end, we're not nurses, and on the opposite end, we're not housekeepers. So really everything in between. We call it personal care support, so things on their body, things like bathing, dressing, toileting, any sort of hygiene help. We can also help with walking assistance, kind of that fall prevention piece, moving about, transferring, even if it's just up and off of the toilet, in and out of a bed to a chair, or up off the couch, upstairs, in and out of the car on transportation home. We can also do what we call companion care services, and those are pretty endless. We really tailor it to each family's specific needs, but in general, it covers your everyday kind of right-hand man type of help. So they can do things like light housekeeping, laundry, meal prep, shopping and errands, make their lunch, clean up the dishes afterwards, empty the dishwasher, take out the trash, bring in the mail. Reminders, don't forget to take your medicine, you haven't had enough water today, staying in touch with the family so you can be that person that gets them on FaceTime to see their son, to relay messages about how they're doing. Follow up doctor's appointments, we can drive them with reimbursement on mileage. You can also, as the caregiver, drive a family's car. But the third option for driving is Uber, and you guys can call the office and we'll help you arrange that for any time you and your client need to go somewhere. So it's pretty great, the broad span of things that we can support families with. So we thank you.
So Laura spoke a little bit about meeting with the families and setting the expectation of what kind of care they need. So the next step is that the three of us will go back and we write everything up with a very detailed care plan of what kind of services the clients need and a little bit about their health history. So do they have Parkinson's? Do they have dementia? Are they bedbound or are they able to walk? with assistance. We'll put as much detail in there as possible. So we ask that you please read it carefully so you know when you go to the case if you'll be, providing bathing care, toileting care, what will be expected of you. We also ask that you please put the address in so you know exactly where you're going and look around for parking. Have a plan in place to get there early the first day. It makes such a good impression when you're early and walk in with a wonderful attitude of what can I do to make your life better. When all of that happens, then generally the clients report back to Nancy, the case manager at the hospital, or their friends and family, neighbors, and tells them what a great job we're doing. If we as a company, and that starts with you as caregivers, are providing excellent care, then what happens is we get more and more referrals sent to us, and then we send more and more cases to you. So it's a very good outcome for everyone if everyone does an awesome job with a smile on their face, and then we'll have more and more cases to offer.